Got to get our Epstein goodies in.
And joining us now is Eric Fudali. He's an attorney who has represented some of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers. Eric, first, your reaction to what we're hearing.
Donald, we're still waiting on these files, Donald. So whenever you get back from your vacation using American tax dollars, remember, Donald, we're always waiting.
From the president this morning.
From day 1 to day 100, we'll always be waiting.
Morning, talking about pardons of Maxwell, saying essentially not ruling it out. He didn't answer anything definitively, right? And calling it all a hoax.
You know, just the mention of a pardon is so offensive to the victims. You know, the victims have been through so much, and they have been wronged at every step of the way for decades.
What do you think is going to happen if they release these files and Trump's on it? You don't think he's not going to pardon himself? Of course he is. Probably going to pardon all the senators too.
The 90s,
I wouldn't put it past for a second.
Of the sham nonsense FBI investigation, of course.
But don't worry. Don't worry though, because even if you pardon yourselves, there's still going to be a lot of people that are not going to be okay with that.
2008, Alex Acosta gives Jeffrey Epstein this sweetheart deal that allows him to continue to abuse women just after that. Then, of course, Epstein is finally arrested. You know, the victims think, okay, now there's going to be some justice. Of course, he's allowed to escape accountability by killing himself. And now, finally, there's been one person convicted.
That's what they say.
In all of this, it's Ghislaine Maxwell, who's convicted of child sex trafficking, a heinous crime. So just even the notion, the discussion, the possibility of a pardon is so offensive to the victims. It's so disheartening. And it just continues this decades-long pattern of re-victimization of the victims.
And now Maxwell was...
That's okay. The victims are coming forward now.
Given this limited immunity deal in part to take part in these new meetings and conversations, answer questions of Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General. Should that have happened?
I mean, if she wants to give information, I'm okay with that. You know, of course, on behalf of the victims, and I've represented a lot of victims of Jeffrey Epstein, you know, we do want exposure. They do want accountability for those who facilitated, for those who worked with Jeffrey Epstein, for those who enabled the most prolific predator of our time. There is a desire for exposure. There is a desire for closure. So if this leads to some exposure of those who enabled Jeffrey Epstein to be able to have this reign of terror on these women for so long, I'm in favor of that, but not in exchange for a pardon, not in exchange for any actual leniency towards Ghislaine Maxwell's sentence. I believe she, and I think I speak on behalf of most victims, believe that she should serve absolutely the fullest extent of her sentence.
I agree. And then they should also release these files and then put everybody else, all the senators, and if the president's on it as well, in jail for the rest of their lives. What would I do? Brother, I don't think I'm allowed to say what I would do. I kind of liked what Asman said he would do. I kind of like the idea of bringing back crucifixions and then taking all the senators and staking them crucified up to the crosses on the White House green. I kind of like that idea, honestly. But I think that what I would do, I would probably get banned for saying. So I'm not going to say it. But let's just say that death is the forgiveness. Cut a deal. It wouldn't be no damn deal. If I got my hands on these documents and I read what was in them, and like that FBI director that said that he was horrified and it changed him forever whenever he read those documents. If I got my hands on those documents, I'd leak them. I'd leak it to every press in the tri-fucking area. I would have YouTube videos going up of pictures of the fucking thing. I would have so much set up to be leaked that even after I turn myself in for leaking them and they kill me, it would still be going up from different accounts that I would set up with different emails that they didn't even know existed. And I would set up for it to be leaked for a full month. Wouldn't be no goddamn deal. Would be a whole bunch of people getting crucified on the White House lawn, though. Deal. Get the fuck out of here with that. Hell no. Since when we make deals with fucking killers and rapists? Get the fuck out of here. Since when?
We don't know much about what has come.
You know, I tell you what, this whole deal talk is just trying to cover up the fact that Trump and a lot of politicians are probably, maybe, possibly, allegedly guilty on those files. That's why they're not releasing them. They know the storm's going to come when they release these files.
But we do know it was the president's former criminal attorney, now current deputy AG, talking with the co-conspirator of the president's.
I wouldn't put myself in that position. Don't put yourself in that position. It's not hard to not be a sex trafficking person. You just don't do it. It's not rocket science. Someone gives you a gun and says you got to kill somebody, and shoot the guy that gives you the gun. The fuck? There's always an alternative. That make no sense to me.
Former.
And I guess that's kind of what makes me different than a lot of people, is because, like, I've done it several times at jobs where people were like, you can either do this or that, and then I always choose the third way out. There's always a third way. Always. And it may not be the way you want to do it, but it's the way that's going to fuck the most people over. That's usually the way that I go with.
Friend who was accused of such horrific actions. Do you trust anything that comes out of the DOJ or the White House at this point?
You know, especially when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, it's hard to trust anything. You know, as I stated before, he has gotten away with everything. For decades and decades, people have known what Jeffrey Epstein is doing, and he's gotten away with it every single time.
So do you trust this White House to get to the bottom of it and to be...
Hell no, they're not going to release these. They're not going to release these files. I guarantee they're going to be leaked. That's what's going to happen. They're going to leak these files. Promise you that's what's going to happen.